I still don't know. Look,
Such an exciting career.
I feel like Sam is watching. He's still like, you guys didn't do it yet. You didn't do that thing that I need you to do.
I didn't
so
go to
that
his class. I should have gone.
He needs us to be true to ourselves. Sam wants me. Sam was always like I feel like when I went to Sam's class, the thing that Sam was always suggesting to me that I wish that he wasn't gone so that I could I feel like I was incomplete. Like Sam was always saying to me, "Okay, Dan, but why don't you do that? But what if you weren't allowed to scream?" Because I thought, not being a very good actor, when I learned how to yell, I was like, "Ooh, this is great acting." Ah! You're telling me, speak the speech I pray you, tripping like a oh, I'm yelling. And then Sam's thing was always like, "Okay, Dan, but what if you were afraid to do that? What if you had to sit on your rage? How would that manifest itself?" And I was never able to do that. All of my stuff was like how wounded I was and how dishonestly that would manifest itself, and I never got to. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My memories of Sam, they're incomplete because they make me go, Sam, give me more attention. Tell me I did something. Tell me. I weirdly pictured Sam when I was 70, that Sam would still be. I never thought about him as having an age or a mortality. I thought he'd be hanging out and he'd be like, "You did it. Good job. You're 70. You did a great job in that at that eulogy, or you did it. I was watching you on that."
There's so many things that he said, like just with one line, with one little statement that completely transformed the way I thought about things. And he told me one thing that I'll never forget. He said, "Jeff," he goes, "you make it all too hard." He goes, "You think you overthink it. You're making it harder than it is." And he goes, "Just do it. Just say the words." He goes, "You have tricks that you use." He goes, "Don't use them. Just say the words." He goes, "Do it again and just say it." And then all the emotion comes out when you're not lying and you're not pretending. He just had a way of terrifying you into honesty, but without being terrifying. He never. Also, he said, when I first took his class, I sat down and he told a story. There was a girl that was in the class, and it was the first day, and he brought her down in the same way that he brought, when you first started the class, he'd just bring a random person out of 15 of us, sit in the chair, and he would just say, there was this woman that sat in the chair, probably 20-year-old girl, said, "Raise your hand, the rest of you, if you think that she is the first one in the pool or the last, and the last one out." And nobody raised their hand. And he goes, "Raise your hand if you think that her bedroom is everything in its place and right where it should be." And everybody raised their hand. And she started crying. And Sam freaked because he's not there to make people cry. He's not one of those acting teachers that wants to break you down to build you back up. He's never like that. And he's like, "Oh, shit, why are you crying?" And she goes, "I'm a silver medal athlete, Olympic swimmer. I have 3 silver medals. And nobody thinks I'm a swimmer. I don't look but if you look at it, Sam was if you looked at her, short hair, the shoulders, the build, the tan, she looks like a swimmer. But no, but she goes, "Why don't people perceive me as a swimmer? I've gone out on 1,000...
How much swimming do I have to do?"
Yeah. and she said to him, and she's crying, and she goes, "I've gone on 1,000 commercial auditions as an athlete, as a swimmer, and last year I went out and actually brought one of my silver medals, which you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to advertise that. And I still couldn't get a call back on it." And he said, "Do you have an agent?" And she says, "Yes." And she goes, Sam said, "Go to your agent tomorrow and say, no more athlete stuff. It's behind the desk, everything in its place, everything just so." And he just met her. Behind the desk, everything in its place, everything just so. She told her agents that. She booked 3 commercials that week. Because he completely goes "You're a swimmer, but we see you as something else. Goldie Hawn is an intellectual. but we want her to play an airhead.
Right.
Because that's what she's bringing to like the mythological table.
There was another story that fits in with that one, which I think it intersects with the Pat Morita thing, which is in an area where it's sort of confusing to me. Like, what's our job as actors and what's our job as producers and casting? That there was a woman in his class that she was like, look, I feel like I want to be an actor. And it's like she takes the class and she's doing the exercises and she's getting flustered and more flustered. And something is eating away at her. It's clear. And like it builds and builds and builds. And then there's that class where she just sort of breaks down and she just breaks down. And this is a story I heard third hand. And Sam goes, what's wrong? What's happening? And she goes, look, it's like, who are we fucking kidding? And then she described herself, and I can't remember the description. The part of the story is she's like, I'm a 280-pound, half Filipino, 45-year-old woman, and I decided I want to be an actor. What the fuck am I doing? Or so she went on this rant that included like just her perceived evisceration of herself, which included just a functional cataloging of what she was. And Sam's response was, I want you to go home tonight, and I want you to take however many headshots you have left, put them each in an envelope, and write, don't open this unless you want a 45-year-old half Filipino, blah, 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 like whatever she said. Don't open it. Don't open it unless you want that. On each of the envelopes, I want you to send it to all these people that you've sent it to. And it was she was the receptionist on Northern Exposure, which millennials don't know. There was a show it was like that was that actor that it was like you're looking. It was just sort of like I don't know how to file that. It's like it's this story of it, like that's what Sam's magic was. It's like, turn this thing that you think is an obstacle into this Evel Knievel ramp and leap into the sky and have everyone look at you and notice these things. It's almost counterintuitive to what we now profess politically and philosophically. The things that we're trying to overcome is like, well, you shouldn't be noticing that I look like this. And your first instinct about who I am is actually your problem. You should be actually finding your shame about it. And I don't know, I guess I always thought I would watch Sam grow and progress into that era and see how he reacted to it. I know that Sam was very internet averse. He was always we would walk into class with our cell phones when they were first developing and a palm tree, and he's like, Dan, is that your phone? I'm like, yeah. He's like, did you know that consumes 3 times as much energy as a refrigerator per week? Okay, sorry, I didn't. Class isn't started yet. But he was like very part of Sam to me always felt like he was very sad to watch the world progress. He felt like it was becoming less and less human and stuff. And I hate to beat a dead horse, but I guess I'm going to Bob and saying, Tell me he went away not going, oh, Jesus Christ, you people are fucked up.
Well, yeah, like the thing about like when you got your essences, like and then you have to go in front of the class and say them all. And what's amazing is that everybody you think they're either going to boo or cheer, but what they do is they just laugh and they go, oh, it's so cool that person knows. Like there was a girl in my first class, and she was this like really like good-looking like Latina, and she hated one of her essences, and it was hot tamale. And she's like, I fucking hate this one. I fucking hate it. I hate it. And we're all dying laughing. And he goes, why do you hate it? And she goes, because I've been called hot tamale my entire life. And he goes, and you always will be. He goes, but you have to like. There's two stages. It's acknowledging it and then embracing it. And you have to throw your arms around and go, fuck it, I'm a hot tamale. Or Goldie Hawn has to embrace the fact that she's like America's airhead, even though she's like a giant intellect. Right. And Church just sent me an awesome quote from Nick Cave. Embrace your flaws. They're the only thing of interest that you have. Like, your flaws are what makes you. And that's absolutely, like, Sam would have absolutely dug that. Because that's what he just had a way of, like, looking at you and going, Jeff, Someone said, hey, I sent someone to his class, and I sent 1 million people to his class, and if you like spread it all out, my first girlfriend that sent me there must have been 1,000 people that went there, including like, you guys. Oh fuck, I've lost my train of thought. He had a way of just like, so I said, I sent somebody to the class, and my friend called me up and he goes, hey, Sam says hi, and he also said, tell Jeff he's an asshole. And he'll get it. And I laughed because he's like, tell Jeff you're an asshole. And that's Sam going like, remind him that he should call me more. Like he only spoke to you in truth and absolutely essentially. And it's the best.
I feel like, for me, Sam was the anchor of everything. Whenever anything was going through your mind that you needed help with, that you needed advice on, that you needed a perspective on that you had not thought of, he was the anchor. And what was interesting is I was with him when the night Obama was elected, and I was with him the night Trump was elected. Oof. And on both nights he cried.
For the same reason. He's like, God, I'm so racist. No, I can't remember what, but I guess
we haven't really addressed Sam's racism.
Sam says it's like mentor. He just screams mentor. Like you're saying, even though he's a close friend of yours, so you're not gonna like label him as a mentor because he's like your buddy. Right. But at the same time, what you're saying is an anchor. He was there. Did that position? Did that cause him pain? Was he weary of that? Did he wish that there was like, yeah, I get it. Everyone wants to hear whether or not they need to feel good about themselves. Jesus fucking Christ, is anyone going to ask me a goddamn question about what the fuck I want? Is that me projecting?
No. Well, he lived in extreme like back pain and stuff like that. Like I wonder, like if part of being being so empathetic that you take on another. Use your microphone.
Sorry. Do you think he embodied?
I don't know. That's something that Bob
would. I think he was a very devoted teacher.
I feel like if you're so good at spotting other people's pain that you have to wear that pain, like you're an antenna for that kind of stuff.
Bob, I feel like it eased his pain.
Yeah.
Other people's pain would ease his pain because he would solve it for them.
Yeah.
He was happy doing that.
He was happy doing that.
He wasn't like invoicing it. Like I project that onto him.
It's interesting.
He's a teacher too.
It's interesting because years ago there was a televangelist named Terry Cole Whitaker, and who I became friends with. And she was very successful, and she sold DVDs and books, and a book called What You Think of Me Is None of My Business, and all this stuff and everything. And finally, she quit. And she said, I'm quitting. And I said, why are you quitting? She said, because I feel like I'm everybody's crutch, and I don't want to be everybody's crutch. Okay. I want to live my life. Sam did not feel like that.
He didn't feel that way.
He wasn't people's crutch. He taught people, and he had his own private life away from that. But his relationship with me was not like, I'm your crutch. It was like, it was friends, but it was also give and take because I would advise him too. Like let me throw something around you and see what you think of that. Because we had interesting perspectives because we knew each other for so long, for so many years that we could be objective about each other. But I think
it's like a favorite thing of his on the off chance that we were to like, we got a podcast. Like, what was a cause of Sam's, like, as far as charity going one way or another? We have a new thing on the podcast where we like divert things. Did Sam have a favorite actual like charity as far as like writing checks where it's like, what I really love is puppies for poor people or whatever?
Democrats.
Well, just straight up.
Democrats.
Have you seen the Michael Moore documentary though? The recent one?
I just told you about it.
Fucking shook us right into the Bernie camp. Like we were like, God damn, Obama's a piece of shit. Like I did not expect the Michael Moore documentary to make me go, fuck Democrats. It was a really disappointing story in it. It was a weird, like, pop-o-matic bubble of shit balls. Like this whole thing is fucked. I guess I'm glad for it. But anyways, but Sam was like, It's like he was a dyed in the wool Democrat. He's like, look, we gotta make this tent and like go straight forward. He was a Hillary guy. He would have been a Pelosi guy / Elizabeth Warren guy maybe, or whatever, who knows. But like
Kamala Harris.
Sam couldn't have been more punk rock, but he was like practical. He's like, let's fucking win this. Stop dicking around.
Right.
Maybe is what he would.
He was also a huge donor to California Hair Bears.
All right. Well, look, Sam, I feel like a suckling pig. Like I feel like I got so much of you. I just all I did was come to your trough and just like lick and suck and selfishly preen. Like, oh, I guess this guy tells me this and tells me that, and I never anticipated that he would be somebody that I.
One of my favorite times of my life was when, before you and I were working and we would go to the Rustic Inn and we had an hour before class and you would go home to your crap apartment in Los Feliz and Dan would write me a monologue and then write himself a monologue and I would learn it in the car on the way there and we would go in there and do it and Sam kept a lot of the monologues that Dan wrote like right before class and disseminated them to like a lot of students, and some of the best shit you've ever written was stuff that you wrote last second to go up there and do, like a minute-long monologue.
Because it was a great writing exercise. You go through these classes and you go, oh, this guy's essence is I'm here to pick your pocket and suck your dick or something, and you'd be like, wow, that's specific. And then you're like, okay, what if that guy had to talk for a minute? Like, hey, I'm here to pick your pocket and suck your dick. It was like these essence of like writing for you, like writing monologues for you.
You wrote one for me. It was like a CIA guy that was like jumps from train to train like on top of it and kills people and just brags about how much he loves being in the CIA and killing people. And you wrote that in like 5 minutes and it was fucking amazing.
Years before Chuck. I mean, I was like amazing.
There's a million anecdotes of Sam bringing out people's humanity and bringing out their absolute honesty and quality. Somebody getting up in class and looking at their cards and people wrote down and a guy yelling, "I'm not loud!" Or a woman going, "Hard to handle, fuck this class," and walking outside. Like people complaining about their own essences and doing an impression of themselves. Like there's no way to replace him. I hope we're not boring you to death by a person that you don't know.
Well, what are they going to say to that? Yeah, you are. They're not. Not if they're good people.
I was in a long car ride with Drew Carey. Like when I first met, very early when I knew him, and I was telling him about Sam's class, and he was driving, and he goes, "I want to know who I am," and he was like on the Drew Carey show. He was like the #1 show, and he goes, "I don't really know who I am," and he took the class, and he came to me, and he sent everybody he knew to Sam's class. He goes, we think we know who we are. There's compliments we wish people would pay us, but they don't. And there's insults that we wish people wouldn't pay us, but they do. And you have to own all that shit. And my favorite essence of Drew's is doing the best I can with what I've got. And he goes,
doing the best I can with what I get.
He goes,
I'll give you a free car if you want.
Yeah. That's why he's brilliant on Price is Right, is because like when Drew gives you a car, it's like, this is fucking amazing.
All right, well, we'll get another person to come up with this. Shit, fire in the wind. Fuck me. Oh,
are you having a stroke? What's going on?
Sam is gone now, and so here's my thing, young people. Because there's not going to be another Sam. And as we hear from these hot tamale stories, actually Sam, if there was another Sam, it wouldn't take the same form because tomorrow's Sam, if they were identical to last year's Sam, would be, what the fuck? That's super racist or whatever. I would say to young people, like, what I learned from this dude that I had thankfully intersected with is there a way, and like Instagram and Twitter they're not gonna be offering this to you. No one is going to tell you that this is important, to explore yourself, warts and all, shame and all, to pour hot scalding water into yourself and see how low it goes and what pockets it fills. Like ask yourself these questions. What are you ashamed of? What do you think is this thing that you refuse to hear about yourself? If somebody says this to you, that's a deal breaker. You're going to walk away. If someone said this to you, you're going to explode because, oh my God, holy shit. Everyone says that to me. Nobody's ever said that to me because I've done such a good job of protecting it. You've got this time on earth to like open your own hood and like go into that shit and like figure it out. The clues that Sam turned us on to were, but I don't know if kids these days ever pass notes. Like now that you guys grew up with cell phones, so why would you ever pass a note? I had a box full of letters from girls I had crushes on and vice versa that Sam was able to tell me, go home and look at all this. And of course I saved all those fucking notes from Gina, and I was able to go, holy shit, she's calling me capricious and aloof and interesting and organic. And then it's like slob, weird, lazy fucking nerd, like, and noticing like what happens when people fall in and out of love with you. But you have your texts, you can go back through them. What do people say about you?
It's easier then. You can like search for keywords and stuff.
What do people say about you when they're excited about you? What do people say about you when they're your biggest fan? What do people say about you when they want to really hurt you? What's the worst thing that someone could say about you?
Shit on a scarf and then return it.
Sam, I think if you were here, would say, start there. Start coming up with adjectives for this stuff. Then get out a thesaurus and look up the synonyms for those adjectives. Make big lists of the things that people have said about you, and then look at the synonyms for those things and find words that spike your rage, your shame, your silence, your emotions, and start asking yourself, what if I had permission to be these things? What if these things were the only point of me being around? That might be a really good direction to go as a writer. I mean, so many of our listeners, like I think a disproportionate amount of our listeners are aspiring writers because I've snowed them into thinking I'm a writer. Why am I self-deprecating? I'm an amazing writer. I'm so drunk. I'm sorry. One of my essences is ends a show badly.
But how many
Sam
people
is gone. There's no more to the class to take.
We know a lot of people that have passed away, but how many people do we eulogize this much, and why are we doing it? And I think like, and I don't want to make myself cry because I'm a crier, but he was a healer. And how many people can you say that about?
Well, because this is just somebody, if it was a Western, it would be like, well, I got 7 bullet holes in the back of my jacket, and it's like, they all represent 7 times that Sam saved my life. Like, I wouldn't be here. It's unfair that he's gone and we're here. If that's why that's why I can't. That's why I'm like scrambling to like, what are we supposed to do? What 40 are we supposed to pull?
Yeah, when I got the call, my first thought was, I cannot imagine Sam not being on this planet. That was my feeling.
Never thought about it.
And never thought about it. It was never something we even talked about that even being a possibility. And he came to my workshop. I teach singing workshops, and he came to my workshop one night. He said, I really want to be a part of that and see what you do. And the next Friday night when we got together, he said, it's so interesting to me that without us ever talking about it, that what you're giving these people is very similar to what I do. So that if somebody came in and said, I want to play Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady, and I would say, do you really feel a connection with that character? No, I just like those songs. That's not it. You have to find out how the world sees you. That will tell you how you're castable, and that will help you maneuver through life so that people are receptive to you. And, he moved me every week of my life. And I haven't yet been able to wrap my head around the loss of this man who was so dear. And on Wednesday, I have to sing at his funeral, and it's gonna be very difficult. To Friday nights is, it's Sam. But how lucky we all are and blessed is what I feel at the end of the day to have had this man touch our lives in the way he did.
And you guys know about his buried gold.
His Nazi gold.
It's Nazi gold?
Yeah.
Well, why bury it then? Why not just let it be Nazi gold? And
What you?
if I had Nazi gold, I wouldn't bury it. I'd be like, well, it's Nazi gold. Take it at your peril.
You got to bury your Nazi gold.
All right. Well, I guess
You're going to leave your Nazi gold just hanging around?
What were you going to say?
Nothing. I was gonna agree with him, saying that like it's lucky to have met him, and maybe nobody in our live audience, but lots of people that are listening to us have met him or got to meet him. But really, he's the reason why I am where I am, and like he brought a lot of people together, and he was a real artist just by sitting in a chair and asking simple questions and letting you be you. It's pretty crazy.
He would listen to you do, the shittiest monologue in the world. Think he'd come in and go like, here's the thing. Whoa, it's me. Hey, I'm Johnny Greaseball. Hey, yo. And he would just take it all in. And then he'd go, why'd you pick this piece? I like Johnny Greaseball. It's my favorite movie. What's Johnny Greaseball doing in this monologue? He's being kind of a shithead, but don't judge him. Don't judge him. That was a big thing I learned from Sam as a writer.
Yeah.
Don't judge that fucking character. Like when I was doing Community, I was like, no. Like never judge the character. And like how dare you assume that your character's being a piece of shit? No, the character is trying to accomplish something. Johnny Greaseball. What's he trying to do? He's trying to convince. Well, have you ever tried to convince somebody of something? Yeah, I suppose. Think about what have you ever tried to convince somebody of? Think about something, just anything. I don't know. My mom, I had to get her to co-sign a car I bought. Like, you had to get your mom to co-sign on a car loan. Wait, how old were you? 22. Where were you? I had to go to her kitchenette and what was the wallpaper? What did it look like? It was yellow. Go. He would just, you never knew when he was going to do that. Go. And you had the monologue memorized, and you had memorized it as an actor, like you're like, woo, hey, I'm Johnny Greaseball, and here's why I always have it. And then you go, and you're thinking about your mom's wallpaper and trying to convince your mom, and you're like, you would just be like, I'm Johnny Greaseball. Do you want to buy a bowling ball? And almost invariably, sometimes twice, sometimes he'd do it 3 times.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you'd get the sense of like, yeah, this person needs they need to mull this over. But most of the time, it was like watching a chiropractor on a caveman just go crack, like where you came in one way and he just would go, you memorize this monologue and they go, do this, and then you would do it completely differently, and the room would be silent because you had nailed the Johnny Greaseball monologue. Actor or not, good actor, bad actor, who gives a shit? You were sitting in a chair and he was like, you memorized it. Now say it like you're trying to convince somebody, if that's what the intention is.
Yeah,
and it was like you would walk out of there going, holy shit.
He told a great story about Robert Duvall, who he worked on Network with. And I did one of Robert Duvall's monologues from that, where he's firing William Holden. And I did it again a couple times, and it went okay. And I said, when Robert Duvall did that, like, how many takes was that? Was it like take 10? And he goes, he did it once. And it's like, that's how good Robert Duvall was. And when he did, what was the Prophet? What was that one called? Where he was, I can't. The Apostle, thank you. Somebody asked him in an interview, how do you prepare for that? Like, and he goes, I'm so good at this now. I've been doing it for so long. I don't really have to prepare. I just learn the lines, and I think of one thing. And this is a great thing that Sam told me, because I overcomplicate things. He said, I walk on the set and I just find something. And when I did that monologue, I looked up and I said, wow, there's a lot of lights up there.
It sounds like cheating. You're an actor.
And then he goes, just one thing that makes you feel like a human being. Like one thing that puts you in the present moment. Not your preparation or anything. He goes, oh, geez, wow, look at all these lights. And then he goes, I know the shit's there. And that's what Sam taught me is like, you have all of the emotions right there. Like, just let them happen. You can do that. And don't overthink things. Anyway, we love you, Sam.
Schraub, you've been awful quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, it's 10:10.
I know. We've gone
Fuck.
over.
I mean, what? Sam would not want to be remembered with an extra long podcast.
Do you want to put a little punctuation on this, Rob?
Yeah, fucking earn your keep.
Earn my keep. No, I mean, I've been quiet a lot because Sam does mean like so much to me, and
Prove it.
and it's hard to not talk to him about him without getting choked up. So so that's why I've been quiet. But no, Sam taught me a lot about just believing in myself and who I was, and just being happy in my own skin. And that's it.
Well, let's take that moment of silence. Sorry, we're breaking up. We love you, Sam.
Goodbye, Sam.
That's been Harmontown. Thank you so much, you guys. Cody and Randy Heller. Bob Garrett, thank you so much for being with us. Rob Schraub, everybody. I'm Jeff Davis, your crying comptroller. Dan Harmon's been your mayor. Thank you all so much for coming. We love you. And it's church rep from Nick Cave. Embrace your flaws. They're the only thing of interest that you have. Drive fast and take chances, all. Zach, you got beats?